to that Maps Engine servlet. It's using a service account to query all of these store locations within the radius, and then it's returning it back as a JSON response. Dylan, are there any questions from the group at all on this? I want to make sure I'm not going too quickly.
No, not so far. No.
Okay. Okay, great. So with that kind of shows how we're using a service account to query these features. Jumping back, let's go back to the client-side code. So right now I'm back on that the JavaScript, and I want to show how I'm actually doing an update, a post to Maps Engine to update these features. So bear with me 1 second. Zoom down. Okay, so when I actually clicked the update feature within that dialog, it called this JavaScript function. And what this JavaScript function did was essentially look at the feature that you selected and set the properties for whatever those text input dialogues were. So, sorry, text input boxes were. So for each one, I'm getting those values, and I'm setting it to the properties for that feature. In addition, if I've actually moved the location, I'm updating its lat long, so I'm updating the geometry.coordinates. And what this essentially is just a JSON object that I'm calling post to Maps Engine. As part of that, I'm making a batch patch request. So if I go down a little bit more here, as part of these update operations, it needs to be a post request. So you can actually see I'm just doing AJAX, I'm making it as type post. And then I'm including the URL. So this is doing including the table ID. It's doing the operation, which is batch patch, and it's appending that access token that I got as part of the OAuth2 workflow. From there, it's also posting all of the features. So one thing to note is that you need to post these features as application/JSON. So you can see I have the feature that I want to update. I'm including it as an array of features because that's what Maps Engine expects, and then I convert it into JSON, and then I do the post. And then on complete, I just alert the user that it's been updated successfully, and then I refresh the Maps Engine layer. And that's how you get kind of the update here. So again, if I just quickly push this over here, update feature, it'll alert me that it's done, zoom the map out, and move that feature for me. And that's pretty much it as far as updating the map and using the Maps Engine API. So quickly, just to recap what I've done within this application, I've used the Maps Engine layer for visualizing the small little points here, so visualizing a large number of store locations. I'm then using a service account and a Maps Engine servlet to actually query features using the Maps Engine API and provide kind of that radius query type capability. So again, that's going a point in a radius is getting passed to my Maps Engine servlet. It's then using a service account to query all features within that radius and returning it back as JSON, which is then being plotted on the map. And then finally, I'm using the Maps Engine batch patch feature functionality to actually update feature locations. So this is happening directly from the client here. I'm able to post it directly to Maps Engine, update that data, and then refresh the map to see it live. Just a few other bells and whistles. As part of this, I have a store heat map. So for the internal application, if I'm a decision maker, I might want to use this to kind of see where all my stores are located. Obviously, this is all just in Pennsylvania. And the reason for that is when I did my random points, I needed like a state that was somewhat square. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually querying all the features using the API, and I'm displaying it as a heat map. So querying them, bring them down to the client here, and then just visualizing them.
Well,
and also,
go ahead. I was going to say we're just about out of time, so
okay.
I was just going to make sure that we don't have questions from the viewers, and it looks like we don't so far, so I'd say you're doing a phenomenal job, Dave, of explaining this. And I think Dave just left. Okay. So I guess I was going to ask him a question, and oh, here he is. You're back. I was going to ask you a question, Dave. I think you're muted. But we are going to wrap it up. I did want to mention you were talking about raster data as well. You were talking about some points, having the points on for a store locator. But the other thing, in terms of raster data or image data, in a typical store locator application, you may think about having your floor plans, for example, on there. So if you're looking at Maps Engine for storing something other than just vectors or points, then that's where you would get into putting image data in there as well. So with that, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap it up. We're right on time here. Thank you very much for listening, Dave. You look a little ghostly there in your picture, but thanks very much indeed for a great demo. And we'll be posting a summary of the meeting in the enterprise community, and you can watch the event after the fact on it.